Hi everyone, Aidan here with etrailer. Today we're going to be taking a look at this replacement fifth wheel head for your A16 or your Q16 fifth wheel hitches from Curt. So if you're getting this as a replacement head, it's going to function just like your old one. You can see right away it's got the same torsion system that's acting as a sort of cushioning system. When we're hooked up to our trailer, it's going to help us create a smoother ride going down the road with that side to side, front to back, and even on the diagonal movement, all absorbing that shock, but also helping us with the hookup process by moving and meeting the kingpin as we're guiding it back. The dual jaw system here, they overlap with each other to create really solid contact on the kingpin, 360 degrees around. And if we move over to the side here, those jaws can be controlled by the handle, secured in place by a pin and clip that can be swapped out for a padlock if you want that security aspect. Pulling the handle out and back will open up those jaws, so we're in the coupling mode. I've got a dummy kingpin here that will slide back in. The open flare here will guide it into position, and then as it backs up, we're hooking up to our trailer, the handle will snap back into place, fully locked in, and we can just re-secure it with our pin and clip. Now, a good way to know if we're fully coupled is the indicator on the back. You can see it's green right now, which means we're positively coupled and good to go. But if I undo that handle here, partially you'll see it switch to that red, and in the fully open position it'll switch to yellow, letting us know we're ready to back up to our trailer. And then as we back up, that kingpin slides in, it'll swing past that red, and when it's fully latched in, go back to green. With the positioning of this, it's easy to see from the cab of the truck, so you don't have to get out to check on it. You can just look back there and see if you've got a good couple. With the fifth wheel head here, we are going to have a weight capacity. It can handle 16,000 pounds of gross trailer weight rating. That's how much weight it can pull, and has a vertical load limit, that downward pressure, of 4,000 pounds. Be sure to check whether it be the leg kit, the slider base, or your truck, and go by the lowest rating component in the system. But know that that's what the fifth wheel head can handle. You've got your 3 different points of height adjustment on the side. Again, depending on whether you're using the slider base like we are today, or the just regular legs that are fixed, that height may change, but you do have 3 different options for the adjustment. What I can tell you though is that the hole spacing is 2 inches apart for each interval of that height adjustment. So just take that into account whenever you're setting this up for your truck and trailer combination. The whole fifth wheel head is going to be a steel construction with a carbide black powder coat finish over top of it to help it resist rust and corrosion over time. Now, with any sort of finish, scratches and scuffs can be a danger to it, because if you scratch away the finish, it's way more susceptible to rust and corrosion over time. It does come included though with a lube plate, which will sit between the head of the fifth wheel and your pin box, with the kingpin right in the center here, and reduce that metal on metal contact to make sure that the finish hopefully lasts a lot longer, keeping your whole fifth wheel looking like new. Speaking of keeping things operating like new, you do have 2 Zerk fittings on that dual jaw design here, so you can apply grease regularly to keep them operating smoothly. If you don't want to leave this in your truck bed full time and you want to take it out, it can be pretty heavy, but you can separate the head into 2 pieces by taking out that first pin and clip and this large pin that runs through the center of the fifth wheel head. And that will allow us to actually separate the head from the body of the fifth wheel here. So it makes everything a lot lighter and easier to get in and out. And with it out, you can see the rubber isolators that are located inside. That's part of the torsion system that we were talking about earlier, and what helps cushion the whole movement here and keep everything operating nice and smoothly, as well as reducing noise. Being able to break it down really helps with the installation process, because you can do it all on your own relatively easily. So let's go ahead and walk through that process with you now. Now, since this is a replacement head, you could be replacing it on a standard fifth wheel rather than this slider kit that we're doing this with, in which case you'll be needing to use the hardware that came with your fifth wheel originally, that bolt, lock washer, and flat washer that threads into the legs on your A16 hitch. With that being said, if you are missing these, you will need to get new hardware, because the hardware that comes with the replacement head is going to be that bolt and nut. Getting this installed, it might be a little easier to have a second set of hands, but if you can grab it by the center and get one of your bolts started just to help hold it in place on either end, that would be ideal. And then we can get the nuts installed later after repeating this on both sides. Now at this point, you want to take your wrench and socket and actually start to tighten these down in all four corners, and then we can torque it to the specifications found in our instructions. For the torque wrench, it's pretty easy to rent these out or borrow them, but if you want to get your own, you can find those here at eTrailer. Just make sure to find the proper torque spec in your instructions and repeat that for the other 3 bolts. With everything torqued down, we can take the head unit and drop it down into place, securing it with the large pin going in through the back of the whole assembly, and securing out front with our smaller pin and retaining clip. And that's really all there is to it for the installation process. It's going to be a very basic, easy to use replacement for your A16 or your Q16 fifth wheel hitches. Just keep in mind that if you're replacing one with the standard legs, that you do have the appropriate hardware, either reusing the old one or getting new hardware. And if you're going to be dropping it in place in a situation like this with the S20 slider, know that the hardware it comes with is going to be exactly what you need. But that'll do it for our look at this replacement fifth wheel head for your A16 or your Q16 hitches from Curt. Thanks for watching.